Hey, Priit. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, wow. On time. Wonderful. So we're waiting for Wim. He has
Okay.
also yes, and we're gonna start. So how are you doing today?
Pretty slow.
Okay, okay. I've received some feedback from your videos, and people are quite amazed because you on as I told you, in a way they're very surprised to see all the system that you were talking about because they've watched your video also, and then they're really scared. They're scared because this is new. They don't know if they should go this way, and I think by listening to you more and more, they would they will grow into understanding what you are talking about. Topics that I've mentioned on the script. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we should. Do you have some ideas you want to share before Wim comes?
Uh, let's go over the topics.
Okay.
Uh, so what can we learn from this? How can we use it? Yeah, I guess you have to just ask me.
Yeah. Okay. I we can
But
do that.
yeah, but do you think it's good to wait for Wim or
Well, we can just start, and when it comes, we can also go over what we've told, and then we can
okay,
hear his
cool.
ideas. So, and yeah. So let's start by the situation. So it's been now 14 days or 2 weeks of lockdown. So we're getting experience to it. So what do you think, according to you, that would be the lesson? We don't know how long it's going to last, but what do you think up to now would be the lesson that we should learn from this lockdown? And what is it that we should, for example, change when everything starts again? And what shouldn't we change when everything shall start again?
Is the
And why?
context jiu-jitsu or is the context just in the world?
Let's first start from jiu-jitsu and then go broadly.
Um, I think broadly, I don't know because I think there's way smarter people there. Uh, I'm I'm really in that sense I can reason and I can but I in that matter I would listen smarter people talk like world
mm,
economy and all
mm,
those things, how
mm,
it's influenced, because it's the talk is it's much more severe than 2008.
mm,
But jiu-jitsu, I think, um, what people don't have, or people clubs don't have much savings. I
mm.
think maybe you can see it all around in internet. People are desperate
Desperate
of
about, yes.
yeah. So a lot of let's say a lot of clubs are just, let's
Closing
say,
down.
non-profit.
Yeah.
They're not making money. They're just people coming together, and they're doing jiu-jitsu, and the coach is not taking money.
Mm,
So in those times, in a way, it's easier. They can just shut down because that's not their main thing anyway. But
yes.
many people are saying maybe there's no club left because they can't pay the rent and there's no savings.
Mm,
So I think maybe some of the clubs will now think that maybe let's have some financial security for a couple of months.
mm-hmm,
Even the non-profit clubs that just have money for a couple of months of rent,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
as a security.
mm-hmm,
If something goes wrong, somebody gets sick,
mm.
something happens. So it seems like a lot of clubs, they don't have that security.
Yes. Mm,
But it's not those clubs overall. Like, you see those news all the time when big corporations, they're like done. After a month, nothing
mm,
happens. They're done.
mm.
Lots of companies are, I would say, are going under after a month of no action. So it's not only a jiu-jitsu club's problem, but but overall, I think people are maybe. I think overall it's smart to have like a couple of months worth of savings. Because something can happen, like some emergency in a building or whatever, so you will survive. And if you only like live from payday, so to speak, like in a life also, it's kind of dangerous. That I guess many people that they are lost their job now and they don't have savings. They have a really, really hard time. So I'm okay. I have enough savings to survive this, and the club is not my only income source. So
okay, so that's the major lesson. That is economically wise. I mean, having some
June,
savings.
Yeah, the May, June is the time when I should have my new apartment. So, and that's actually very not so good timing, because I have to start to pay the loan and everything else. Yes. I think starting June. So things get harder but manageable. But I think it's so people maybe start to think ahead. It can happen again, because I think also the message, I think, is that at least in Estonia they're saying that people have more savings than compared to 2008, when this real estate bubble burst.
Okay.
And now people are surviving better
this time than in 2008. Okay.
Yeah. So I think, but still, nobody expected this virus to shut everything down. So,
and we still don't know how long it's going to last.
But China, I think my wife said that China, the Wuhan, I think they now let people travel. I think it happened like. I think you should check it, but I think the news was they traveling. So there it took like 3 months.
Okay, but okay, that's good news actually.
So you should definitely check it. I haven't seen the news.
I'll check it out. So
yeah.
Okay. So that's the place. But what do you think in consideration of the trainings and the teachings and the atmosphere and the cultural wise in BJJ? Is there something that's going to change, or not? Nothing has to change there.
I don't see that why anything change, anything else had to change, because so it's been 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks in quarantine. So I think still it's a short time. We know that people are doing lots of solo drill videos. Community kind of seems to help. A lot of online
resources,
online sites are opening up their stuff, and it's a lot of sales. But I don't feel that we have to change in a jiu-jitsu world that much. That the teaching or something, because I don't see the reasoning behind that. Why would somebody? What would happen? But maybe it's just maybe people come back to the gyms, and maybe they just appreciate the more couple of days or a couple of weeks more this rolling around, and then we all forget we had this crisis.
Okay.
It's usually like that. If you had no eyesight, then you get eyesight. So it's for a week you celebrate, and then you forget. So I don't think anything in teaching, but maybe also some randomly, because some people have read some books during the quarantines, and maybe they do something, but I think everything will go on. I guess clubs are losing people. Maybe if they reopen again after a couple of months, maybe they don't get all the people back. So I think during this quarantine, they have to consider, like they're not going to start from the same place they ended. How to get people in. Probably there's a lot of sales or a lot of promotions, like you join now, you get half free or whatever. Everybody wants to start going again.
Okay, you see the major change in the actions that are going to be taken in the realm of economical marketing and sales, etc. But in the role of the BJJ, stricto sensus, nothing has to be changed.
Yeah, because people don't have money. They have to get a lot of pay rent and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So how to get people in?
Really? Oh, yes. I wanted to ask you, what do you do to maintain yourself in shape, and what do you do, for example, personally, to keep on
I,
track?
I try to I try to lift weights 2-3 times a week.
Okay.
Uh, Other than that, I don't do much. We've been me and my wife. We have been one hike also, like
Okay.
last week. I think it was 8 or 9 kilometers
Mm-hmm.
in the nature. Uh, and I also my wife's dad. They have a country house,
Mm-hmm.
like 40 maybe 40 kilometers from Tallinn, and he's building there. Like there's a small house,
Okay.
so there's a lot of work to do, cutting. I don't know how to say it, like smaller trees, so
Okay.
making it all nicer.
Okay.
So a lot of physical work there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think last time we were there like Saturday. So I would just yeah. So that kind of helping them like during the weekends and trying to lift any way I can something. So that's, and also I guess one hike. So,
Mm-hmm.
but mostly that's it. I'm very passive at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to figure out the club stuff. I'm playing some PlayStation games,
Yes, I saw that.
and yeah, it's really really slow at the moment. So
Okay.
and waiting for what government says, because I
Mm.
guess they called it 2 weeks quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we have to see what's happening now. Do the special situation continues? Do they do something? Do they go like a full lockdown?
Mm.
Like a martial law or something?
Yes, yes, that's
Or so we'll see what happens.
mm.
They said everything, all the museums and cinemas and stuff are closed till 1st of May.
Mm.
Yeah, Wim said to me also, like, on my way.
Ah,
And so it's pretty slow. So just monitoring every day the news, what's happening,
here comes
uh,
Vin.
trying to save the club as much as we can. It's a slow process,
Mm.
and then that's about it.
Great.
Wim
Vin
is
is
coming.
oh, there he is. Hello.
Mr. Wim.
Ah,
How are
yes.
you, man?
Hello. Everything good. Sorry,
Oh,
guys. I walked to the store. I was on foot, and it took me a bit longer.
okay.
Uh, I'm
Just
here.
adjust your sound. I can hear you very well.
No, now better.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
Perfect. I have my hand in front of the box.
Okay, great. We've been talking already with Priit and the. Well, can we jump, or do you have something to say, or can we jump?
No, let's bring Wim in.
Let's bring it.
Yes.
So I'm the only white belt here, so I'm going to be tapped a lot. So,
Depends what we're talking about.
Just overall, like, just what's changed a little bit, like overall in the world, or
yes. What?
just basically waiting for you.
Mm,
Sorry, how is it going for me? Well, it's ups and downsides. On the upside, I spend more time with my family. I get rest a bit. I work a bit more on my fitness. I do yoga, so I have more routine. Let's say I can rest out a bit. And there is still one guy who lives alone who I roll with a bit. So I'm not. So
mm,
in the end, I have my training still and business. We should get help from the government. So overall, everything should be fine.
mm.
You
Okay.
never know, of course. And for you?
For me,
Great.
Yeah.
uh, I guess I have so much free time. So I already told, doing some physical activity. I don't roll, playing games, taking hikes, helping my wife's dad with a house building in a countryside a little bit, and during the weekends. So basically, if you consider overall, I think overall I'm playing the most.
Playing.
Trying to get to the bottom of this game, but I guess I take breaks and watch
Oh, no contact.
for a month and a half already. So it's
Yeah, it is.
really dragging, and it's kind of fun because we have to survive till end of April. So I'm trying to pace myself, so to speak.
Mm.
To be honest, I think it might last longer. I think.
Yeah, we're considering like maybe opening. We hope maybe opening in July or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Also July, but I'm prepared maybe to go even till September. I think it's what because our business is going to be the last thing that's going to open in the end. It's going to be. And what I'm afraid about, to be honest, is they say, okay, look, now you can start opening again, but you can only do 10 people at a time, or like 5 people at a time. And then we would not qualify anymore for getting aid from the government, but we would still have to work, and that would be we would do it, of course. It would happen, but it would be hard, I think.
So the question was, Wim, what do you think we should change after this? What do you think we should learn? What do you think in the business world? Do you think something has to be changed, or do you think we just have to go the same way we were before, and then
jiu-jitsu wise or overall life?
Jiu-jitsu wise first, and then overall wise.
I think the discussion of whether or not people should wash their belts should finally end. That's one thing. So, well, just good habits, but always keep doing them. In my gym also, we have a sign: put shoes or put slippers when you go to the toilet. How many people still I see going barefoot to the toilet? We have a fight about it every time. Yeah, but it's only once. Yeah, it's you once with everybody. How many times you see people go to the toilet not washing their hands? You know?
Okay.
So this.
These are the small rules we have to change. And anything else?
There's no argument after that. You know, the slippers, people are super paranoid themselves already, I think.
But that's it. I mean, what else can we do? It's not.
Okay.
Oh, well, maybe telling people, and this is more overall, just in general, have a healthier lifestyle. Go out more. Eat healthy, drink healthy, because if you see overall in the world, not completely, but mostly it's the healthy people appear to be fine when they get affected. So I don't know.
Okay. For example, about the leadership and the organizations, that's the second place. What do you think have to be considered different? Because there are so many different things that have happened. Competitions have been canceled. Everything has been postponed. What do you think should be considered differently? And in the sense of the organization, but also in the clubs and the teachers.
What you mean in regard to the virus? You mean, or
Pardon?
In regard to the virus, you mean in the future?
Yes, of course. But the crisis. The crisis. Should this crisis will teach us something in the way we organize things, even in philosophical way, even in a didactic way, even competition-wise? Do you think we should have another relation to every event that we're going to organize in the future?
I think we should not take everything for granted anymore, maybe.
That's a good point. Okay.
I don't think we can learn anything out of this just to relate it to jiu-jitsu only. Or to just in general. I think we should. I think this the whole thing that's happening. It's not good, of course, but it can be a good exercise because it can happen once with a virus like this. It can also happen with something which is even worse than this. So in a way, I'm thankful for the moment that we get now, because to reflect upon everything that's happened and in the past and well, organization wise, I think most organizations did a good job because everybody canceled his events. Like if you talk about like Christian Grogert, he canceled his events right away. I mean, it's a huge financial burden, organizational burden. I don't think anyone in the world, like the bigger organizations, everybody took his responsibility, reimbursed people, canceled events, and it costs people money and for sure time. So I think they did a good job doing that. And what I'm gonna do in any case, if I can support, because I consider myself got a good social security system, so we're fortunate, and my business will probably survive. So I think what I'm thinking, if people, for example, nearby here, maybe in Holland, where they don't help out as much, if I can help with free seminars or stuff like that, I would see if I can contribute my part overall to the community. And
did you hear that? Did the grappling industries also finally cancel these events or something? They were
yes.
They were keeping their events live the longest. You know, they were trying to get all the IBJJF competitors.
Yeah, but what I think, grappling industries, I cannot know for sure, but they seem to have a problem. I think because right now we get always emails that you can pay for a lifetime subscription.
Yeah,
that's weird because it means you need cash flow. That's what it means.
Yeah, they're acting weird.
Yeah, I think so too. And especially because black belts and brown belts, I think you can compete in any case for free in grappling industries. So why would anyone get a lifetime? Things like 800 euros for a lifetime subscription. So why would anyone do that? Yeah. Everybody's trying to keep his head above water in any way they can.
Yes, of course. That's.
Yes, this. I've been also thinking about this. Seminar thing. Just when it's over, maybe get people back into clubs, maybe travel, and maybe meet the clubs and help them out a little bit, bring value, and yeah. So we'll see.
Do you get help in Estonia from the government?
As a salary, some do. Me personally, I don't, because I'm a member of the board. But we're at the moment to continuous talks with the owners of the building, and we have some contract points that we are pressing that they should meet us in halfway or even more. And so that's a little bit like back and forth right now. But we are not. Our business is not in a so to speak government building. Like a city building. So right now there was news that I think the who rent from those city, those guys they don't have to pay a rent on 3 months, whatever. But I think what's the problem right now is that the banks are not bending. So so if we don't pay rent, example, then the guy that owns the building, they have to pay the loan. But if the banks don't meet them in any way, so they're pressing us, So it has to come to the point that banks are helping those business or real estate owners. That then it's better. But right now the banks are not meeting. Everybody kind of, I guess, waits. It blows over a little bit. But I think it gets easier when the banks are already like trying to meet those real estates and businesses.
Here in Belgium, the banks offer the opportunity to postpone your loan. We get the option. I didn't, because in the end you have to pay more interest. And I said to the bank, look, I'm okay for a few months. So let's see. And if I really have to, then I will cancel my loan, because I own my own building. And people here who rent from the city, they pay on the hours they use. So in fact, if they don't use the gym at all, the people who rent from the city, they don't have to pay anything at all. So here we get help because for the fact that you're self-employed and get your own business. And they also give us the option, we pay social taxes every 3 months. And they give us the option to stop paying that, but you also lose your retirement. So if you pay your social taxes, it counts as work. So later when you retire, if I ever would retire, then you would not get, it would not count as if you worked. So at the moment I just still paying my bills, and everything.
Makes sense.
Okay, that's great. I think now we can dive into something. I don't know whether or not you're talking to each other, but since we have both of you on the channel, that's a good opportunity to dive into the
First time.
the techniques. That's not a sparring, but ideas are very good from both of you. So Uh, First of all, let me ask you to, Priit, if there was one point
You
that you
froze.
to Priit, if there was
Uh,
one point in BJJ that you believe to be true, and that most of the people would be against you and even would be very angry about you, what would be that point for you?
uh, so So you were a little bit hacking. So I will repeat the question so you can say it's the right. So something that I believe is true,
Yeah,
and but people get really angry.
yeah.
So obvious one at the moment. Just show your back all the time. So it's like it's a bigger topic. I guess you understand where I'm coming from with this, but I guess the dogma that showing your back is bad, or don't show your back, or whatever, or you should not expose your back as much. So I think maybe that's the most I get heat from, that I tell white belts and all those things to play back forward too much for ordinary people to understand. And I believe that if you want to, the trick is, if you want to avoid giving up your back and escape the back as quickest as possible, then you have to give up your back as much as possible to have the biggest experience package, so you could make a decision very quickly how to escape it very fast. So it's like a dichotomy. It's do not give it to escape fast. You need to give it actually a lot. And then you have so much knowledge and experience in playing, and you don't panic, and then I guess it's possible also to avoid. And I'm not saying everybody should play like I do, but it is, if I really want, it is very hard to take my back, and all because of that I'm so relaxed and I don't mind, because I know what's happening. And so that's, I think, people still don't understand. And I meet people that try to argue me differently. And so also my coaches have told me previously, during my not black belt times, that turtle is a transitional position, don't stay in turtle. But I always say, like, that you can say that towards any escaping position, like mount is a transitional position, that don't stay in mount. If they mount, right away escape, or don't stay in mount for long. But to escape mount very fast, you have to be there the longest, so to speak, that you can make the best decision under pressure. So that all this kind of so anyway, yeah, so I'm just saying, like, turn your back and enjoy and make friends with that kind of game. And after that, there's not much to fear, so to speak, if you make friends with the most dangerous things, and everything else is easier afterwards. So that would be my thing at the moment, from top of my head.
Okay, thanks. And you, Wim, what would be yours?
Well, like the most controversial I ever got heat for. The thing is, I'm a bit more diplomatic, let's say, when I say things. So that helps, right? But what I got some flack for was I was saying, I said, like, there is no bad position in jiu-jitsu. There's no bad positions. There's only positions where you know what to do and where you don't know what to do. But there are positions where so a bad position would be considered a position where you are less mistakes away from being finished than your opponent. Understand? But in the end, it's always about playing your own game. And if you make if you're very good in defense, and nobody, okay, let's say this: my arm is bent and I'm in arm bar, and here I'm 2 mistakes where they have to stretch me and get my thumb in the correct direction to finish me. My arm is already stretched, then I just have to turn my thumb in the right direction. So then I'm 1 step away from a mistake, right? But if I don't make that mistake, and if I'm very good in that last part, and that last end game, then technically speaking, there is no real bad positions if you always know what you're doing. And I fully agree on Priit when you say, okay, you don't want to be in those bad positions, but if you want to get good on it, you have to spend a lot of time into it. So look, I always say this: if you're rolling, okay, it's about maturity in game. If you roll with a white belt completely in the beginning, often the odds are the person is going to spaz from beginning to end. And then after a while, people start. But usually when they feel they are winning, that's when they first start to learn they're in control. But as long as they're neutral or losing in the beginning, they still stay spazzing and getting very stressed. Then at some point, people start to relax when they're neutral. And many people, I feel, never evolve past that point. It often happens when you're on an open mat, and I'm rolling with purple belts, brown belts, even black belts, and you pass their guard, and it's like you insulted them, because they're always about, yeah, jiu-jitsu, it should be calm, it should be nice, should be no strength, and then be economical in movement, but then you mount them or pass their guard and they start stressing right away and bumping right away, because everybody considers it an insult when you pass their guard or take their backs or whatever, which is very not what you should be doing. I used to teach swimming for many years, and I always said, this makes sense, that if you want to learn how to swim, you have to spend a lot of time in the water. You're not going to say, I'm going to be a good swimmer by rushing out of the swimming pool right away. Rushing out of the swimming pool right away would be a sport, a competition where you want to cross the length as fast as possible. But when you want to learn something, you just want to spend a lot of time there. So like Priit says, give your back, give the mount, give everything, and spend a lot of time there. So you learn how to swim. And then indeed, when I fully agree with that. Once you were, once when the competition, then you start to do it faster, right?
But what would be going from there? What would be from both of you the fundamentals in BJJ? Because we hear so different many things from black belts. We don't know exactly what are fundamentals, because somebody said some people are going straight to techniques, some others say principles, some are invisible. We don't know. What would you say both, for example, you two?
Actually, let's do this. That I want to add something to Wim's talk.
Okay.
For a previous question, it's actually very surprising that when you say that, Wim, that people resist, because it's all about having an objective. If you go like, what you consider bad position in a MMA, you would say mount bottom, yeah. So if you give like the argument, so I totally agree with you. I'm just saying that how people react, because I understand when you say there's no bad positions, because you don't have like an objective. If overall no position is bad in itself, because if you know what to do, it's not bad. So when people argue that, that there is bad position, and when you say this overall assumption that there's no bad positions, it's pretty obvious that you're making sense. But then if you go like, if you could choose which is better, which is worse, in an MMA fight, then when you get more precise question, then you can say, okay, this is a little bit worse, this is a little bit better, So I find sometimes it's very strange to argue with people. That
it's about context, right? What you mean? It's about context. Well, this can be bad in a certain context.
Yeah. So, but I find that because in many ways, when I say something, people have those dogmas and stuff. And when you say something like, no position is bad in itself, it's like, it's about, do you know what to do there or no, So, but people don't seem to understand this, and they're like, no, there's a bad position and good position. It's like they don't exercise the mind enough, because you can clearly have a good argument, but some people, I don't know, I'm not calling them stupid, it would be much, but it's sometimes it's like, God damn it, open your mind or have a discussion. Try to understand the point of view. It's not all that black and white, and there's room for ideas and stuff, and it's broad ideas and more, narrow ideas. And so that I find also the way I'm saying, you can turn your back and it's fun and play with it, and people are like, no, this is what I teach all the pandas, turtles. This is advanced escaping system. I'm teaching those things to white belts and blue belts, and we're making them pretty annoying very fast. And it's not advanced, and some people still, even like smart people, and not like also like black belts. They're saying, oh, this is advanced and you shouldn't teach it in the beginning. And I see that this is actually a good thing, or have like an argument that willing to change their mind. So I wish that more in jiu-jitsu world usually would happen, that people could just argue intelligently and be also willing to change their minds and accept new ideas, because other than that, is if you just repeat some dinosaurs, mantras that came from like early jiu-jitsu ages, now we know better, now we're challenging those ideas. We have to change our minds. So it's kind of sad when it always happens.
What I want to add on this is, I think it depends which kind of person we're teaching also. Because in a way, I agree. Let's say you have a person coming into your gym. Hi, Priit, I want to learn self-defense and I want to be the best possible in able to defend myself in 10 classes, for example. Or maybe one class, or give me one self-defense class. And if I would have to teach a person only 10 classes and not sport related, just for everyday life, self-defense, then I would say, okay, never give your back, because you don't have the time to go over that. Or never give your back. If I have a person in the gym coming, I want to do self-defense in 1 hour, I say two things: run away or hug. Hug and yell, or run away. And not even if you get mounted and you just want to do self-defense, I only have 1 hour. Hug, stay there, make a lot of noise, and hope someone comes to save you, right? But if you do it,
so that's what I mean. There's a context.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, and so sometimes, I don't know. I'm discussing with you, not only here but also in different camps. We have shared some ideas, and with some people it's possible to like have a discussion. You don't have to agree with always, or you can disagree, but you still have a mental exercise that why somebody thinks this and why somebody thinks that. But or even try to understand why I'm saying that you should expose your back and why it could be good. So people are just, no, it's bad to give your back. It's like, yes, in some way, but it's like, no, it's very like dogmatism, so to speak. So yeah, sorry. So ask a question again. What was the third question?
Going from what you've just said,
fundamentals.
Fundamentals
Fundamentals
for beginners.
I would think, sorry.
We have to. I think the first thing we have to narrow it down, because it's like, what is the meaning of life? I think this is that question. So Wim, you can start.
A person who first, because I'm a white belt, you're talking to a white belt, who first comes to a BJJ class, what should he experience first? I would not say what should he learn first. What should he experience first?
As overall experience, I think if you go to jiu-jitsu class, it should be pleasant, it should be friendly. So those are the fundamentals, yeah. So the environment should be that you come back. So the most fundamental thing as a club could be like you have a welcoming environment. I guess you talk to people, they're enjoying the class, they understand, and they're getting some success and they're actually learning something, and that let's say that makes more sure that they might come back and they could stick around. So I think that is if you would ask this, like, what is as a white belt, you come in a first class, what you should experience. So fundamentally you should have that kind of environment where people feel welcomed and welcome to be vulnerable, not laughed at when people are learning new things and doing mistakes, but doing mistakes should be encouraged, and they come back and they want to learn again, and definitely they should have some feeling of success, that they actually did something, it was meaningful. So I think fundamentally, if you go totally broad, you should have that. And then I guess the more narrow fundamental would be like, what would you teach also? And but yeah, so Wim, what's your take?
I would have said the same in the beginning. Make sure that people want to come back. And in one way, it's always a discussion, like a discussion between what we should do so that people come back, and what we should do to make people be safe when they train. Because I think I see it like this. I said before, ways a human body can move, and if you have a person coming in 30 years old or 20 years old, who never did a front roll, never did a squat, never did a lunge, never did those things, doesn't know how to put his body tense and relax, then it's let's say so a person like that is going to do CrossFit and high speed weight exercise. That would be very dangerous. If you put this and then that weight always moves statically, does not move around. So you decide how that weight moves. Then that would always be considered dangerous. So Jiu-Jitsu is actually doing CrossFit with a moving part that actually tries to do the opposite of what you want. That's very dangerous. So in a way, yes, make it fun first, but make sure they can train safe. And in an ideal world, I think every beginner who comes in, like if you would not have to think about fun, I would say let the pupil first do 3 months of basic gymnastics and 3 months of basic fitness, so they have the fundamental movements and learn about form tension, to learn those things, and then start to go into jiu-jitsu. But of course, if people come in and they expect a martial arts class, they usually have some idea what jiu-jitsu should be in their head, and if you go away too far from that image what I think it should be, then you're gonna lose them. So indeed, in the beginning you would play games, and then it's the same thing again, I would say, as in swimming. If you teach someone to swim in the beginning, you're not gonna say, we're gonna swim first, we're not gonna enter the water for 3 months, we're gonna do all those basic exercises on the side. You're gonna lose everybody. So in the beginning you play games. And what might this game be? Very simple. You always have to see, of course, how it works in a class environment, because you always come into a group. Oh, we're still on, right? Because I got something on my screen. Okay, yeah. So because I come into a group, it's not always possible to tailor the class exactly for a new person coming in. But let's say it was, then I would start in the beginning. Okay, let's roll a little bit. Let's play safe. Let's do some framing, like they do in Wing Chun with some hand claps and things like this. But what I do personally in my gym, I have regular classes where everybody is allowed, but then I usually in the rolling pair complete beginners with more advanced people, so never 2 beginners go together, because that's dangerous, I think. And in the beginners class, in the fundamentals class, I also allow everybody to come, and everybody can train with everybody, but they only do positional rolling with only one small goal. So they don't allow free rolling in the fundamental classes. That's how I keep it safe. So that's what I'm thinking. We should have to find a balance between fun and safety, and safety being then more focused on the fundamentals, like fitness and tightness and form tension, and fun more the sport and the play aspect. I would think.
Okay. On the other side, for example, maybe you want to add something, Priit?
I would just say for beginners, we actually don't let them roll for first 3 months.
No roll at all.
Yeah, no, because I think even the free rolls, the option is that do the positional rolls, But what we do is every class is independent. They can join. There's a 3-month cycle, They join whatever class, and then they do isolation drills. I mainly teach in my beginners courses. We mainly teach submissions. 2/3 of the beginners course is submissions.
That I agree with.
Because that's the end. That's the context they understand also, and they can finish the armbar. One is protecting, one is finishing, one is protecting, one is finishing, and add resistance and add control. Because the point is they go to base course. We have 4 stages: beginner, base, main, and advanced. And they go. I want them to be safe. I want them to know what a submission is. Because if they go to base course, then they start to roll freely. So I want them to be aware of the submissions, and because usually when you teach beginners like a half guard pass, nobody understands why you need a half guard, because then the resistance is also there. That why I want to see that UFC lock, So the meeting together point was that we teach them submissions because they're the most fun for people, because they have no clue what it is actually, what jiu-jitsu is. And so we teach them distance. Somebody learns to tap a lot and somebody learns to finish a lot. And then because we don't let them free roll, because they're usually, some athletic dudes are there that are actually dominating and making it very hard for everybody else. And so we kind of weed out idiots in 3 months. We calm them down, or we talk to them, or, exception would be they would leave. But because they say it's boring and they want to go away. And because I know that if you start to roll right away, some people also do it with the submissions. I think it's super dangerous because they don't know what is a winning, losing. Everything is personal, and so they go super hard to submissions. Other people don't see submissions coming because they have no clue. And so definitely positional rolling like Wim you do is one way. But yeah, we decided to go like people can join every class and they learn submissions. Actually, leg locks, Achilles, knee bar, Dars, anaconda, arm bars, triangles, kimuras, all those things. If there's time, we add a little bit context, so what's the position you control, and then you go to submissions. And so that's how we start. And so that is also kind of like what we teach to beginners in a early. Probably the other 1/3 is like guard passing ideas, how to, what is Turando and why you should get past the guards. But we don't talk about half guard passing and all those things, none of it, because they have no clue why you end up even there. So it's kind of hard to teach people because they don't know what they need. And they've only seen, UFC or whatever, the movies and stuff, so they understand submissions. So, and I in a way, it is the best thing to start, and then you just add more context going backwards from the submission, and then they understand the control and all those things, but they have to know the end goal, so to speak.
Okay.
And
I don't know.
yeah, and then they start to roll. Yeah, and then they start to roll in a base course, and then they understand that they don't get to submission that easily. People protect, and then they feel the need to build up the context because then they understand why you have to control people enough and all. So that is our take. Wim, it's just a question: can people join every time, or do you have a 3 months curriculum and then you take new beginners?
To be honest, they just join whenever they like.
Okay.
But I would say that if I had the luxury of having a bigger gym, then I would do it in your way as well. But for now, we have to see. We have only one mat, so we can only have one class going at the same time. And what I have is we have gi and no gi. So okay, we have 4 just jiu-jitsu classes for everybody, just BJJ, and all levels can enter. And this is for me a little bit more advanced. So the fundamental classes, so in the BJJ classes, I'm going to cater to the average practitioner and maybe give a little bit extra to the advanced guys. And the fundamental class, I'm going to cater to the complete beginner, so the stupidest person in the class, let's say. Grappling classes, no-gi, I consider them to be advanced, but everybody can enter. And it's not that I cannot teach a fundamental grappling class, just we don't have time for basic no-gi class. And I think in the beginning we should focus more on body movement itself than on actual technique. I fully agree on philosophically. I also teach first submissions and then submission defense. Me and Jean, we also talked about it the last time. He says, it's what would you teach first? defense. I agree that defense is the most important skill to learn first, but you have to learn people, have to give people a safe environment where they can teach their defense. So you have to teach them control in the submission first. And if you can attack safely, then you can defend safely. And yeah, I would fully agree on that end game first. And I tend to do that. I don't really have a cycle, just because in one way I think having a very structured cycle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then reset is very good. But I feel so sometimes I start teaching a new subject, and I always know where I start, and I have in general an idea where I want to arrive. But I always discover so many things along the way that I cannot say it's gonna be this. Maybe if I train like in another 10 years, then I will say, okay, now of playing around also with those things.
Do you have like a beginner's course, and then in some point you let people to join other classes, or how do you do it? Like,
no, everybody can join every class, because I think in one way people have to learn from the teacher, but they also have to learn a lot from each other. And it's very hard, I think, to learn jiu-jitsu in a group setting. If you have a bad training partner or an unskilled training partner, and you're not very skilled yourself, it's very hard to have a good class. Because about connection, about forearm tension, putting your weight correctly, and all those things. So yes, I have a fundamental class where I focus more on submissions and the escapes and the basic postures and those things. And there people can train and it's mostly the beginners who go to that class. And then the regular classes, there, in theory, it's more open a bit. But there, so two beginners, I don't put with each other because that might be dangerous. But there you have the luxury that you can roll with a more higher belt. And a lot of the teaching also